Greetings and salutations, fine jits, shits, johns? I'm PG, I'm chillin'. I don't know who that was. And in this video, I'll be giving my top 20 hip-hop albums of 2024. It's been a great and interesting year for hip-hop in terms of moments, drama, beef, a lot of surprises, and most importantly, a lot of great music. I'll be rounding off my bottom 10 pretty quickly, and then I'll give you my top 10 with more detail, along with some honorable mentions. And just a quick disclaimer here, this is my third year doing this and having this channel and reviewing albums, so no, I have not heard every single album that released this year, and really, who has? So this is my top 20 based on what I've listened to, and of course this is my opinion, so chill. Of course, if you like the video, please gently tap the like button. If you want to subscribe, please smack the shit out of the subscribe button. And of course, you can also click that bell to get notifications of when I upload new content. And now, let's get to it. I hope you enjoy this video.
At number 20, Everybody Can't Go by Benny the Butcher. Number 19, Alligator Bites Never Heal by Doechii. Number 18, Vultures 1 by Vultures, Ye and Ty Dolla $ign. Number 17, Ultra 85 by Logic. Number 16, Samurai by Lupe Fiasco. At number 15, Bando Stone in the New World by Childish Gambino. Number 14, Chromacopia by Tyler the Creator. Number 13, Crossroads by Cordae. Number 12, Hard Stone Psycho by Don Toliver. And at number 11, The Auditorium Volume 1 by Common and Pete Rock. And now for my top 10. Starting at number 10, Rich Ass Haitian by Mock Hami. Not since MF Doom has a rapper been this good in terms of having both anonymity and lyrical gems. Mock raps about a range of topics from personal strife, silent success, spiritual and religious themes, as well as nods to the politics of Haiti, a topic we are used to hearing from him. But it's his rawness and ability to use witty wordplay that keep you engaged, as well as his dense lyrics, packing some punch in short time, given that it's 17 tracks long, but with a 47-minute runtime. Now Mock is simply not an expert on hooks, but if that's not catchy enough for you, then the boom bap beats can be. There is an array of instrumentation on here, like the breezy sounding flutes on Law and Law, the icy piano loops on songs like Copy Cold and Sanji. There's also layered sample-driven production, like on the track Pardon, even a bouncy beat on the title track produced by none other than Kate Renata. It makes for perhaps Mock's most accessible listening experience. In my shorts review of this, I described some of the soundscape of this album as sounding like an old Western movie. It's hard to pin down, it's a bit of a challenging listen that does make up for itself with some great features from veterans like Black Thought, The God Fahim, Rock Marciano, Your Old Droog, and more. But the more you give it a listen, the more enjoyable it becomes, at least for me. Just like the artist himself, this album went under the radar. If you like underground hip-hop and thought-provoking lyrics, give this album a spin. Number 9, Might Delete Later by J. Cole. I can already see the comments and hear the groans, ripping me to shreds on this pick, because many people battered this album mainly due to Cole's handling of the Kendrick and Drake beef. If you remove his diss track on here, 7 Minute Drill, which he actually did, then there isn't much complaining to do, at least for me. Let me break it down. We have hungry, hard-hitting performances on songs like Crocodile Tears, Ready 24, Sticks and Stones, and Huntin' Wabbits. Also some low-key great verses on Pie, Pricey, and 3001. And quite frankly, I like HYB. Sure, Fever is a bad rendition of a Drake-type song, but still, nothing really to skip on this project. J. Cole gave us a taste, a warm-up if you will, for his highly anticipated album, The Fall Off. I think this album does the job and then some. I can't deny the flip of the classic Dipset beat, and some of the chilling production on here. Like there is a calm before the storm, and we have high hopes for that storm. While Cole displays some of his strongest as well as some of his weakest attributes on this thing, I think the good clearly outweighs the bad. I have not deleted this thing. In fact, I have kept songs here in my rotation since its release. It's not Cole's best, but it's a very solid album. At number 8, King of the Mischievous South, Volume 2 by Denzel Curry. While some fans will swear by his lyricism, this is possibly Zell's least lyrical and least substance-filled album to date, at least from what I have listened to and based on the last few years. However, in turn, we get an album filled with absolute energetic bangers. Ultra Shit, banger. Hot One, banger. Black Flag Freestyle, banger. G's Up, banger. You get the idea. This album is an homage to the Southern, Houston, Memphis hip-hop style that Denzel grew up on. You can hear that in the dynamic energy and flows of Denzel and many artists on here. You also hear it in the grainy vocal mixing, really giving an old-school Dirty South mixtape sound and feel. This album is packed with features that mostly carry a similar energy to Denzel, but none of them can truly match Denzel. There are also interludes and voice snippets from Southern hip-hop legends in here that all bring it together. It's not an album you can bump all the time or chill to, as it's high energy, and it can also sound dark and gritty too. Bump that shit in the whip. Hell, I bumped it on the way during my workout at Planet Fitness yesterday. Planet Fitness life, I know, not the greatest. But, once again, Denzel adds another notch on his belt of great albums and is able to reinvent himself in some way, shape, or form. At number 7, We Don't Trust You by Future and Metro Boomin. Where would this year of mainstream music be without this album and what came of it? Even putting the smash hit Like That and Kendrick's verse aside, this album is curated and cooked at a high level. Metro Boomin is undoubtedly the best producer when it comes to the modern trap subgenre of rap, and his partner in crime Future is one of the best when it comes to making those type of songs. The chemistry on this project between them is unmatched, as we hear catchy flows and melodies from Future like on songs Young Metro, Cinderella, Type Shit, and more. There is spacey production on here like on the title track and on Fried. We even get some great sampling on Like That, Seen It All, and on Everyday Hustle. It was also a cool touch having those voice snippets from the late great Prodigy sprinkled throughout the tracklist, where he is talking about trust, what's real, and what's really hot in hip-hop. Acting in the form of a narrator highlighting beef. Must have been a foreshadowing, or done on purpose. There are also memorable features on here from Travis Scott, The Weeknd, and Playboi Carti. Look, not every song on here is a hit, or is that catchy, or compelling, but I have to admit, a few of my favorite songs this year fall on this album. And that goes for many other people. This album is not only another stellar collab in the books for Metro, but it now serves as a pivotal moment for hip-hop in the modern era. Metro, respectfully, shut up and make some drums. At number 6, You Only Die Once by Freddie Gibbs. Frederick Gibbs, Gangsta Gibbs, Big Rabbit. This man has been consistently putting out quality work. Now I will say that this is not at the level of his collaborations with Madlib and The Alchemist, but then again, that is a very, very high bar. Freddie raps his ass off as usual, effortlessly over a very cohesive sounding album. He is also questioning the idea of legacy as a rapper, given the death and downfall of some of his peers in this nasty industry, as well as looking back on some of the wrongs in his past, with some gloating and street talk in the process, of course. Most of the production is smooth and a bit stripped down to really put an exclamation mark on Freddie's performances and abilities. With only a few real hooks and no features on this project, Freddie is able to pack a lot of punch and even show some vulnerability like on songs Cosmo Freestyle, Wolverine, Brick Fees, and Steel Doors. Freddie is able to get a lot done and get a lot off his chest in only 34 minutes. There's also this theme with the Black Devil character voiced by the dude who played Black Jesus. It was also on Freddie's last album. As if the devil is looming over him and tempting him, which is like a sequel to what was going on his last record, Soul Sold Separately, which had a lot of talk about vices. It adds an entertaining factor and layer to this listening experience. Like I said, this album is short, punchy, and filled with smooth but bouncy beats that really highlight Freddie Gibbs' flows and rhyming abilities. And now for my top 5. Who's your top 5? What's your top 5? Number 5, Dark Times by Vince Staples. The Long Beach native doesn't mince words and gets more personal and introspective on this album. Vince reminds us who he is, where he came from, and what troubles him now that he is a celebrity. Whether it's on the song Black and Blue, where he examines the environment he grew up in, while shedding on the loss of friends and fellow rappers, or on the song Government Cheese, he reminds us of his identity as a Crip and survivor's guilt. He also talks about tensions of relationships he has been in and reminisces on past relationships. So yeah, this album can sound heavy and dark. But there are shining moments on here from a production standpoint, with songs like Etouffee and Little Homies, which are low-key bangers. The tracks transition smoothly, and while a few beats on here can sound a bit bare, it's Vince's tone and his stark lyrics that make this album an experience. It's hard to believe that Vince is only 30 years old, with the way he has shown growth and maturity over his last couple albums. And you can hear that in his writing, his tone, and his unique perspective. This album can truly serve as an autobiography of Vince Staples. I still have not really watched his TV series, The Vince Staples Show, on Netflix, but I have read some positive reviews. It will be interesting to see where Vince goes from here, especially after a year where he appears to be gaining more of the spotlight. At number 4, Why Laud by No Worries, which is the duo of rapper Anderson .Paak and producer Knowledge. It's a summer divorce album. Yep, you heard that right. It's classified more as R&B than hip-hop, but an artist like Anderson .Paak is always able to blend both. The multi-talented artist is able to sing and rap from a sense of heartbreak, regret, rejuvenation, and a sense of closure. This album sounds silky smooth and even more cohesive than their last collaboration album together called Yes Lord. Their ear for production, balancing the soundscape Knowledge provides along with Paak's emotions. It's very impressive. Their last project sounded like a groovy jam session, bouncing off ideas and showing some flamboyance, whereas this one sounds more polished and whole. Paak is able to churn his feelings and what happened in his personal life to an album that sounds like his own process of healing. Whether it's stewing in loss on a song like Keeper, realizing what he needs in a relationship on a song like Where I Go, wanting to move forward and party on a song like Here I Am, or facing the truth and pain on the song Walk On By. I can't pick which is my favorite between Walk On By and Daydreaming. Both such fantastic yet different vibes. This album has so much to offer sonically and even emotionally. I played this a lot during the summer after it came out. In fact, the more I talk about it right now, the higher I want to put it up on this list. It's a well-curated record that is groovy that somehow still progresses like a rocky but beautiful relationship. Although not the best, this may be my favorite album of the year. What a collab. Number 3, GNX by Kendrick Lamar. If you had to define this year with one rapper's name, it would be Kendrick Lamar. In this hip-hop dialogue space, the Drake and Kendrick beef invaded our algorithms and our minds and made us look closer at lyrics and disses again. Some people glaze and overanalyze Kendrick's bars, but there's no arguing that there is less to analyze on this record. Because, quite frankly, Kendrick is as direct and straightforward as ever on this album. Kendrick has moments where he is cutthroat and really getting into his ego, like on the opening song Whacked Out Murals and on Man at the Garden. He makes you move and bop your head with certified bangers like Squabble Up, Hey Now, and TV Off. He performs a couple of melodic songs as well, like Luther with SZA, but he also gets in his famous contemplative and storytelling bag with songs like Reincarnated, Gloria, and The Heart Part 6. This is Kendrick's most balanced project. It also happens to be the most West Coast inspired soundscape he has ever rapped over. He even puts on a few newer West Coast acts like Lefty Gunplay and Dodie Six. This album has everything for a Kendrick fan. It's in your face, it's polarizing, filled with memorable and, well, memeable moments as well. But it does have its flaws. While it feels like Kendrick is having fun with it at times, which of course is a good thing, it does result in weak tracks like Dodger Blue and the title track. Kendrick was in your face on this album, just like he was in our faces, throughout this year. I have heard and seen opinions saying this album is his worst, all the way to people saying it's a classic. I like to steer away from recency bias. Perhaps if it released earlier this year, I would have more time to let it marinate and rank it higher. Like I said, this album is his most balanced in terms of having thought-provoking material, as well as having surface-level ear candy. Kendrick proves once again that he is in rare form, a one of one, a limited edition, if you will, just like the Buick Grand National. Number 2, I Lay Down My Life For You by JPEG Mafia. I started listening to JPEG about 3 years ago, really since I started this channel, and explored his music and saw the acclaim he was getting in this community. And I know now that that is justified. Peggy continues to find new ways to make beats and reinvent his sound in this new album, which has a lot of punk rock, metal, and grunge influences. You can clearly hear that with the metal guitar riffing and thumping drums across songs like the intro track, which is too long for me to read at this moment, Sin Miedo, I think that's how it's pronounced, Vulgar Display of Power, and Jihad Joe. You hear it in the amount of reverb and mixing as he usually does. There is some great instrumentation, like the trumpets and horns on JPEG Ultra, or the beautiful strings and guitar plucks throughout the outro song, I Recovered From This. And then there are tracks that combine electronic and punk rock aesthetics, like on the songs I Don't Rely on Other Men and New Black History. And once again on Sin Miedo, which he does incredibly. One of my favorite songs of the year. Such a banger. Not to mention the sampling on songs Ex-Military and either On or Off the Drugs. I feel like I have name-dropped every song already. Every song feels like its own experience. That's where I'm getting at. And Peggy sounds dynamic, spastic, and just sounds like he is sick and tired of industry games, fake and entitled people. And towards the end of the tracklist, he sounds off on past relationships, whether it's friends or love interests, and recovering from pain in his own way. This album can sound jarring, but the production did grow on me in time, similar to his last couple of albums. Again, I am still fairly new to the JPEG Mafia, but I am a fan. And who doesn't love good punk rock and heavy metal, especially from the early 2000s? Forget the underground, Peggy is the best producer-rapper right now. JPEG is able to push not only the boundaries of conventional hip-hop production, but his own boundaries, which is saying a lot. And my number 1 hip-hop album of the year goes to Blue Lips by Schoolboy Q. Yeah, I am crowning a different TDE Titan the top spot. Yes, I know Kendrick has his own label now, but you know what I mean. Schoolboy Q came back with his first album in 5 years, and you can see why, or better yet, hear why, on Blue Lips. Q made the first experimental gangsta rap album, or at least the first that I'm aware of, and that is in terms of the experimentation and the production, toying with a medley of beats. Whether it's the grunge and psychedelic sounding records like Pop, Lovebirds, Yearn 101, and Time Killers, the groovy bass lines on a song like Germany 86, even jazzy and soulful instrumentals like on Blue Slides, Lost Times, and Cooties, which by the way, a nice ode to drug addiction and Mac Miller on the song Blue Slides. There are beat switches throughout this thing, which is not for everyone, but they do add to the listening experience and transition well. For instance, on the song Ohio, which has 3 parts to it, somehow is able to wiggle from jazz to trap beat, then back to jazz. There's so much to pick apart and dissect in terms of the production. But what does remain is Q's authenticity and confidence in his delivery. Q is able to sound aggressive when he wants to, when he tells tales of dark subject matter like street and gang life, but also sound reflective of those situations. And he also has moments where he is introspective. Let's not forget, Q is a father, an avid golfer, and quite frankly, someone who has become confident in who he has become since growing up on Hoover Street. This album has songs that will make you rumble your speakers, and also a few songs that will make you just want to vibe to. There are many layers to this album sonically, and Q is able to also open up and show more layers of himself. After seeing interviews with Q this year, it seems like he is in such a good headspace and really took his time with this one. And it shows. So my number 1 goes to Groovy Q, Gangsta Q, Father Q, the artist, Schoolboy Q. And that's all she wrote, folks. That's all I wrote. Yeah, I'm exhausted from typing these notes up and recording this, but it's been a hell of a year. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know your thoughts and feedback in the comment section. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. It's list time, baby. Opinions, blah, blah, blah. Of course, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel, and feel free to cause some discourse, right? As always, these are my thoughts. Stay blessed.